Let's play Planetbase. This is a great little game I've played for about a year and a half. I've got over 630 hours on it and unlocked most of the achievements. This is a game in which you send colonists down to various worlds, ranging from relatively easy to very difficult, and you help them recolonize the worlds and help them to work efficiently. Let's start the game by hitting play. It takes a few seconds to start up. On the main screen we see our spaceship flying over one of the planets you can colonize. Let's take a look at the settings. I like to keep the resolution and quality in the medium range. This helps the operation of the game run more smoothly, I find. And I like to keep the special effects volume up pretty high so you can hear what's going on in the environment and helps you protect your colonists better. Also, the music volume can also give you some additional information, but over time it becomes kind of tedious, so I keep it down. Let's start a new game. As you can see, we can go to one of 4 planets, ranging from relatively easy to quite difficult. I've already been through all the planets and unlocked all the achievements in them more than once. But let's start in a relatively easy planet. Let's name our planet something interesting. This ought to be a good name for our colonists. Their planet base. You can rotate the planet. You can see the location where your colony is going to be located. Try to pick a spot that looks fairly open. It's much easier to build in terrain that's flat and open as opposed to mountainous. You see these little scripts here that provide you with additional information. It can be useful especially in the beginning. And right now our spacecraft is landing. Looks like we're in a pretty open area. Good place to start. In the beginning we are sent down with 7 colonists, at least on this world, and 2 little bots. We've got 3 blue guys, they are the workers, 2 green guys, they are the biologists, 1 yellow guy, he's an engineer, and this guy over here in the red is a medic. Constructor bot in yellow and a carrier bot in blue. Take a quick look around by moving the cursor around here with the roller key put down. Looks like this is a pretty good place to start, anywhere in here. Maybe we'll expand that way and even up this way and push our external structures over this direction. I think that's the plan. Okay. First of all, highlight the spacecraft. You get to see all the supplies that came down with you. Hit the recycle key. This opens them up, gives your people and your bots easier access to your supplies. Now we want to start building. Go to your building icon and it opens up further. Let's do an external structure. Look, we're going to need power right away, so let's have a place to drop our power into, remembering that we're going to do our external structures up in this direction. Still got some guys that aren't moving around, they're not busy. Let's get them busy. And they can build a solar panel over here. Now these have got to be linked so that they pass power and water and information back and forth. I like to see this. All these little guys are busy now and are all working, so we're achieving some pretty good efficiency. We need a water extractor as well right away, because people have to drink, the plants we grow need water, and the oxygen generator needs water to produce oxygen. But none of them can do any of that without power. So we've got that up and running. It's pretty good. The next thing we need is some internal structures, one of which is going to be our oxygen generating unit. Put that here, link it, and we need a way to get in and out. Let's do an airlock. busy. That's good. Our water extractor's going up. If you click on one of the people, you see what their personal status is. The most critical thing in the beginning is the oxygen tends to go down first, so you've got to build internal structures with oxygen, with an oxygen generator, so they can go inside and get replenished in oxygen. And shortly after that, they need water. And so one place they can get water is in a canteen. So build a canteen. That's an internal structure. Check on the status for people again. You can see the oxygen levels going down. And because we have power and the oxygen generator is working, because it needs power, it also needs water. The interior oxygen levels are rising. 22% is optimum. And now our guys are going in to get replenished. They need oxygen and they know it. Once the canteen is complete, you'll see this interior structure key that allows us to get inside and build other things. Just as soon as it's linked up, it'll become available. What we need right away is water for our guys to drink, and they need a place to sit down and eat. I'm not going to have them build anything else right now. I'm forcing them to build those items first. If we change this up here, you see that we've got 25 meals, 28 metal, 34 bioplastic, 10 medical supplies, and 10 spares. That's what we've got left here in this pile. So we can open up the tops to see inside better. This is generally how I like to run throughout the game, so you can see what's going on inside better. Okay, so now we've got a drinking fountain, and we're just about to have a place to sit down and eat. Let's take a look at these people. How are they doing? Starting to get a little bit hungry. Definitely need some water sooner rather than later, and they're going to need a place to sleep. So the next thing to build is a cabin for sleeping. Some of these guys independently will decide they're hungry, so it's time to go get something to eat. Others will continue working on the tasks that you've assigned to be completed. You can speed up the game by hitting these arrows and set it to 2 times normal or 4 times normal. And then you can bring it back down again if you want. It's good to speed the game along sometimes, but if you have it fast all the time, sometimes critical things are happening and they can run out of control if you're not careful. Okay, check on the status for people here. Everybody's looking pretty good. We've still got plenty of meals, so I'm not too worried about them starving yet. Alright, just click on this. Just as soon as the corridor is finished, it becomes available to build interior structures like bunks in this case. We want enough bunks for most of our people. We don't necessarily need them for everybody. And this allows us to conserve some resources that we might need to build other buildings. Now look at these guys going out and they're getting their meals, coming in and sitting down to eat. if they end up sitting in the corridors or other places to eat, like this guy is here, you'll find that their happiness level or their morale tends to go down. They don't like sitting on the floor to eat. So we try to avoid that. Same thing with sleeping. If they don't have a place to sleep, they'll sleep anywhere on the corridor or in one of the rooms, and they don't like that, and they get sad. Survival is reached according to this. You get to take a little snapshot view of what your colony looks like from a distance. Takes about 10 seconds for it to go away. Okay, we're continuing with building of our bunks. The next thing I'd like to do is put a mine in, because we're going to need more metal. And if we build a mine, an exterior structure, put it right there, very close to the airlock. It allows the ore to be brought in, to be used. And people don't have to walk very far or work very hard to do that. Okay, we've still got a few of those meals left. They're building that. Now some of the workers will end up going inside of here in the mine to work, producing ore, and you can see the status of that as it starts to go up. We'll watch one of these guys right now. He's busy at work, making or digging for ore. The next thing I'd like to do is to be able to utilize that ore, so we need to build another interior structure called a processing plant. Put that back here for now. If you've noticed, I've tried to keep the construction of everything relatively close to the pile of supplies. This cuts down on the amount of time, effort, bots and the people need to put into building everything. If you string it out way too far, it takes more time, it makes it more difficult. When they're doing this type of work, their morale tends to go down. So you need to have stuff that will build the morale back up. One of the things that can build the morale is a TV to watch, or maybe a plant to look at. Now that this is built, we can put in a metal processor, we can put in a bio plastics processor. So the ore coming from our mine, there's one right there, we brought in to help make metal in the future. Meanwhile, even though we've got enough to eat, we need something else. We need plants to help make our bio plastics. If you roll the roller on the mouse up and down, you get to choose the size of the building you want to build. I recommend in the beginning, build the biostructure as big as you can. You don't want to do these small ones unless you absolutely have to, because they take resources, they take space, and they don't provide a lot of biomass that you need for food or for starch for your bioplastics. So at least try to build the next one up. And again, we'll speed this up. Pause the recording for just a moment so that I don't waste your time. Okay, our little builder bot is completing this biostructure here, our biodome. And now we're going to put in some of these various plants. You need some starches, various types. And you need some regular vegetables. And you need at least one medical plant. You can put in some of these trees. They just plant them by putting little seeds. They don't cost you any resources, but they do a couple of things for you. Number one is they give you oxygen. Number two is they can increase your morale. These guys will go stand and look at the tree and get happier. I find that you can't have more than about 3 or 4 plants at a time that are being taken care of by an individual biologist. So we're going to need some more biologists pretty soon. To get more people in, let's build an exterior structure landing pad. Again, try to put it close to the airlock. And you saw that was going to take 4. In fact, it's going to take 5 because the link takes 1 metal. So we've got enough to do that. Also, you don't want to get too far away from an oxygen generator. If you click on a particular room, you can see what the oxygen level is. Alright, we built this. Let's see what kind of guy comes out first. Looks like a biologist, which is good. Let's go to our landing permissions. We'll bump up the biologist and leave the worker fairly high. In the beginning, these are what you need. Expansion's been reached. Another little snapshot for us. Alright, our food is getting a bit low. Let's quickly build food makers. And those food makers will take the products over here from our plants and turn them into meals. I've had a couple more people come in. One way to shut off the spacecraft from landing is turn it off. In this case, this is a trader that came in. We really don't have enough resources right now to trade, and so I'm just going to dismiss him. In fact, I'm going to go back up to our base management, into landing permissions, and turn the trader off for now so only the colonists are arriving. Remember, we've got mostly biologists followed by workers coming in. We can check on our current status by looking at the stats. 8 people so far. 3 are workers, 3 are biologists, 1's an engineer, and 1 is a medic. And that seems about right in the beginning. Don't need anybody else just this second. Let's go ahead and increase the number of plants, more starch, and some more regular veggies. You see that a regular veggie will in each cycle produce 3 units of vegetables. A starch plant will produce 2 vegetables and 1 starch unit. The starch units can be used in this machine here to produce bioplastics. In fact, it's already loaded up with 3 starches, and our worker is busy trying to convert the starch into bioplastic. The supplies that are out here do deteriorate. Over time, they do deteriorate, like I said, and So eventually we want to either use them up or bring them into a storage facility, but we're going to build that a little bit later. Okay, let's take a look where we stand. The plants seem to be in pretty good shape. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So it looks like we're good. It looks like we've got enough biologists for now. We've got bioplastics that need to be used. Go ahead and build a couple more of these in anticipation of additional personnel coming in. See this guy here? He is sick. He might have gotten injured. The workers tend to work in the mines and with the machinery here, and in one or two other places. So, the next thing we probably need to build is an interior structure, a sick bay, so we can treat our people. Get too sick. When they get too sick, they don't work, they wander around, they don't do anything, and they do consume food. We're still producing bioplastic. We've got metal. Still producing ore. So we're doing pretty good. When the condition of the plants go down, you see that the rate at which they grow starts to diminish. And so the biologist will come over and work on it and bring everything back up to speed. And when it's excellent, it's growing at the fastest rate. Now let's check on our power at other levels. Let's look at our grid. We can see that we've got plenty of power because we're not even toward the end of the, well, we're right at the end of the day, but our power storage is all the way full. We've got some wind, so we could generate some more power with that, but what I think what we need next, before we get in trouble, we need more water. If you saw, the water is pretty close to being maxed out. I'm going to speed this up again. Now that we've got our sick bay built, we can ask for a storage unit or two, the medical supplies. We can build at least one bed. We can build some more later when we got more resources. Alright, now we've got a dust storm coming in. We have people out here wandering around the dust storm. Their health level starts to go down pretty darn quick. You can speed it back up again. The game resets to normal speed whenever one of these hazardous conditions arises. Really, you want to have your people avoid being outside during a dust storm, but we had to accept some risk right there. I felt we needed the water to be completed. Alright, maybe we'll make another bed. As you can see, we've got meteorites coming in. That's another risk. We'll be able to take care of that later, but right now I don't have enough resources. So we'll just have to accept that risk for now. let's go back to our landing permissions. We want something that's a little more normal, and I find that about 25% workers, about 35% biologists, 30% engineers, 5 and 5 for medics and guards. Seems to work pretty well. We'll turn the landing pad back on and start getting people in to fill up those vacancies. Alright, do one more thing and then we'll basically be done with the beginning stages of our colony. Let's take a look again at the number of personnel we've got. We've got 8. This tells you what we've got, number of bots, various resources. Just verifying we've turned up the speed of the game, keep things moving along. Another worker in. One worker got hurt. He's coming into the sick bay. So we got 3 workers, 4 biologists. We got 1 guard. The guards become critical later on, and they tend to work in the security room. We'll build that later. But there's one more thing we need to build right now. In the beginning, and that is a factory. The factory needs to be built so that we can have very essential items that are made out of metal and bioplastics. Once that's built, we can do that. So we've got 3, 5, 3, 1 and 1, total of 13. Don't forget that the oxygen generator allows you oxygen for 20 people. No more. Alright. Believe it or not, we really need semiconductors. I like to put 2 of these in, 1 spares. I hold off on the weapons. We'll need those later, but we don't have enough resources right now to do it. Alright, this is a good startup base. The only other thing I would possibly do is add another energy producer, in this case a wind turbine. If you've got the resources, the larger the better, because when it goes down, it needs to be repaired. As it goes down, the engineer or the constructor bot will come out, bring one of these spares, and use it to help repair it. And they do that for solar panels and for wind turbines. These other exterior structures don't get repairs, they don't need them. The water extractor, the power collector, and the others that you can build from time to time, including mine. So it's only for these 2 that need to be repaired. Let's turn this off for a while. That's another way to stop the colonists from coming in. Alright, now this is a good startup and a good tutorial on how to get things going the right way, the right order. Nobody's died, and you've got your people with plenty of food, plenty of ore, and other things that they can produce and survive. So I hope you enjoyed this beginning tutorial on how to start up any base in Planetbase. Alright, thank you. And we'll continue with some other tutorials down the road on how to expand from here. What are the next things that need to be done? And I'll handle that in a tutorial number 2.